This week also means that it's a parliamentary week, a week during which several meetings of Parliament will be held. You had been informed of a meeting to be held today, a continuation of a meeting actually that would have been with the Justice Minister. However, late last night we received communication from the Minister of Justice that he would not be able to make the meeting. So that meeting has been postponed until another date. But there are some other interesting things happening in Parliament, and tomorrow the handling will start of the 2 timeshare ordinances. As I have indicated on several occasions, the initiative draft laws on timeshare, as were submitted several years ago, I think this started in 2013, and the advice of the Council of Advice was received on these 2 ordinances, and upon taking up the post as a Member of Parliament, I had indicated that I would take back up these drafts, work on the advice of the Council of Advice, respond to the comments made by the Council of Advice, and get these 2 draft ordinances back on the agenda of Parliament. That process actually required a complete overhaul. What we have today are 2 new drafts on timeshare. One is the timeshare ordinance itself, and the second one is the establishment of a timeshare authority. Both of these draft laws will be in a Central Committee meeting for tomorrow, August the 16th. But exciting is the fact that one, the timeshare ordinance is in the English language. In addition to that, it is the first time for our St. Martin Parliament that a Member of Parliament submitting a draft initiative law will be defending the law in Parliament. Why is that? Because if a Member of Parliament drafts a law, a so-called initiative draft law, that member, or sometimes it can be more than one member, are responsible to defend the law in Parliament. So in this case, I will sort of be sitting on the seat of the government. When you have a law coming from government, it's the government that defends its law, and in this case, it's the Member of Parliament. It's the first time that a Member of Parliament will be defending a draft initiative law. So those 2 facts are very exciting, I believe. Again, the timeshare ordinance is in the English language, so we will be debating an ordinance in English. And the second part is that you have a Member of Parliament, in this case the Chairperson of Parliament, defending the 2 draft initiative laws. You will continue to hear about the short-term contracts, so-called, some call it the 6 months contract. And the fact is, and I think that in the discussion, it has been lost somewhat that currently our law and our labor laws are, as far as labor contracts are concerned, those are taken up in our civil code. Currently, it is established that if you have contracts, in this case labor contracts, that follow each other between an employer and an employee for 36 months with breaks of no more than 3 months, following that period, the labor contracts become indefinite. It is also stated that if you have more than 3 contracts successively with breaks of no more than 3 months, then too, in those cases, the labor contract between that employer and employee becomes indefinite. So when we hear, I want to pause here a moment and interject that when we hear that persons are being given labor contracts, and to mention an example that someone mentioned the other day to me, for 37 years still on contract, the question is, has that been all the time with breaks of more than 3 months? Or has it just been happening without the employee, in this case, claiming his or her rights according to the current labor contract law, which is in the Civil Code? Currently at Parliament, there is a new Civil Code book. A new book has been created in our Civil Code for labor contracts and everything having to do with labor contracts. What we are seeing in that proposal is that requirements and conditions are being put forward for short-term labor contracts. So while you still have the part about more than 36 months or more than 3 contracts, you still have that in the Civil Code. Now, the proposal that is at Parliament currently is to put certain conditions if an employer wishes to enter into a short-term contract. So under what conditions can one have a short-term contract? That is currently at Parliament, sent by government some time ago. Minister Lee of Public Health, Labor and Social Development, however, has been meeting with the tripartite committee, in other words, the representatives of business and of labor, to flesh that out even more in terms of the conditions under which a short-term contract is permissible. So until the minister has an agreement, and from my understanding he's very close to that, with the social partners, then we will have that matter in Parliament. But again, I want to stress, currently there are already limitations to the amount of contracts that an employer can enter into with the same employee. And I believe, looking at that it is a matter of where do you go, where does the employee go when these stipulations are not lived up to. And I think there is where something might be wrong in terms of filing, or maybe the employee is fearful to do so. But I think that we need to look at that angle there very, very closely.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard to 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEB.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
St. Martin has its first K9 brigade. Another milestone from this government, another milestone for the Ministry of Justice. All St. Martin could have witnessed during this last 6 months and 1 week that I am in office, what the efforts and results are from the Ministry of Justice in this government, in this cabinet. I want to use this opportunity to show gratitude, be thankful, and say some words about gratitude. First of all, I want to thank Father God for all His blessings in my life. I want to show gratitude to the board of US Party, that put their trust in me to become the Minister of Justice for St. Martin for this period. Thanks to Mr. Franz, all parliamentarians, the Ministry of Justice, especially department heads and staff, the prosecutor office, investigation units, the community of St. Martin, Minister of Justice Curaçao, any staff, Ministry of Justice, Minister of Justice from Aruba, any staff, media in Curaçao, St. Martin, and Aruba, and my family. If you could have noticed, I didn't mention the Council of Ministers and their ministries. Because I not only want to show gratitude to them, but I want to share my credits to this Council of Ministers. Without the support of this Council of Ministers, today I would have no credits. Prime Minister, sometimes you have to pull my ears. And the other ministers, once again, thanks for your support in my projects. For the K9 unit, a special thanks to the Minister of Justice from Aruba, trainer of the unit, the head of custom, director of prison, chief of police, and the dog handlers.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah! Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
These are the doors that never close. These are the hands that make a difference. These are the walls that could tell countless stories of helping and healing, of storms weathered, of change and growth, of a place where life begins, where hearts are mended, and where hope grows stronger. For more than a quarter of a century, the physicians, medical professionals, and staff of St. Martin Medical Center have combined advanced medical technology and compassionate care to bring a world of medicine to our friends, neighbors, and visitors to the island of St. Martin we all call home. As proud as we are of what we have accomplished, we believe there is still much work to do to continue a proud tradition of providing everyone in our community with the latest technology, the best medicine, and the most exceptional care. St. Martin Medical Center, celebrating 25 years of serving, caring, healing.
People, based on what I read, are trying to speculate or thinking that, okay, the same company built the hospital in St. Lucia, which is not usable. I think last week or the week before you mentioned this about the hospital in St. Lucia and what's the hiccup there. But can you verify a little bit exactly if this is the company that built a hospital in St. Lucia and what is St. Lucia's problem?
This is a comment that I've heard. As a matter of fact, the Prime Minister in St. Lucia is a friend of mine. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet, also comes from a tourism background. So I took the opportunity to contact the Prime Minister to speak to him about the hospital in St. Lucia. As a matter of fact, if I have the opportunity to go and to actually see the facility myself, I would do that, just again to give further insights into how to negotiate our contract. But in my conversations with the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, his indication was that the hospital was built to very high specifications, to European specifications, and that the equipment was of a technical level that actually they have a problem that their staff is not has not been properly trained to use the equipment, and that the main reason the hospital is not functional has nothing to do with the contractor, but has to do with the fact that the specifications of the equipment are of such a level that they have a problem with the staff to actually equip to run the hospital.
The taxes owed by the hospital. Can you explain how much and how far back that those taxes
The
go?
estimate is about 7 million guilders that they owe. to a very substantial amount. Perhaps I should use this opportunity to also comment on a comment that has been made publicly, and that is that we're fighting to take money from GEBE to balance the budget. And I think I've mentioned this before, that the monies GEB owes government was not incorporated in the projections for 2016, and whoever is contending that our attempt to collect what is owed to us by GBE is to be able to beef up the 2016 budget is inaccurate. Revenues that is owed to government by GBE were not counted in the revenues for 2016.
Just part of my question wasn't answered. How long does that 7 million go back to? What's the period?
That information I do not have, but it's several years. So that amount has been outstanding, not the last 9 months, but several years. And hopefully, with the way we're approaching it, we can collect that 7 million.
Are there, or have you found other government or semi-government institutions that have a similar situation, that they owe government taxes and these taxes have not been collected?
Oh, there's a lot of government-owned companies that owe taxes, but they're considered current. With the exception of SMMC, that is not a major problem as far as the other government-owned companies are concerned.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
In my opinion, everything is perfect and you would be great for the job. But I see here that there's a 2-year gap in your resume. What did you do?
I was hospitalized for mental illness.
Oh, mental illness?
I've undergone treatment and I have a wonderful family that supports me.
Well, that is good news.
No, it's fine. I'm recovered.
We'll contact you, okay?
For a better understanding of mental health and what you can do to stop mental health stigma, please go to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Why PPA? PPA because of a strong leader. Why PPA? PPA because of a stable government. Why PPA? PPA because of a safe and secure country. That is what St. Martin needs. That's why Jeffrey Richardson is supporting and is a candidate on the PPA slate, which is going to be the party that is going to make a difference in this country. Jeffrey, why did you choose PPA? I remember last time we ran together with the National Alliance, our party, the CPA. And our party stands for an alliance, which means that we can choose to run with the party that is going to be able to give and achieve whatever we feel is important for St. Martin. When I sat down and I listened to, and I looked at the track record the experience of our leader, our future leader, the leader that is going to lead this country after September 26th. I look at the fact that in 1994, she was able to put together and organize our first referendum, which we all were proud of, because today we can brag of a country, St. Martin, because of her. We look at a leader that was able to set up, and I think Les said that a while ago, and I want to echo that. The fact that she was able to set up a country, a parliament, that we never had here in St. Martin. People believe that it was something very simple, but if you were in the shoes of our leader, Gracida, you would understand how difficult it was to have to take this whole thing on your shoulder as the president of parliament, to go out there and to set up the whole parliament that we now enjoy today. So we want to thank our leader Gracida for what she did. When I listen to, and I've been listening to the different parties all the time, because I believe it's extremely important for us to do that, so that we understand that our opponents are talking about this and this particular issue. One of the things I heard from a party is, and they had a slogan that came up that said, "We accomplished." And I asked myself, accomplish what? Accomplish what? When a governor gives you instructions and tell you, I want you to make sure you form the government. Secondly, I want you to make sure you have a election for 2016. And lastly, and that's a simple thing to do if you really care about this country. And to stop this ship jumping, I want you to be able to reform the electoral laws. But we are coming now into a next election, and we have not seen any type of laws put together where electoral reform is concerned. Is that accomplishing? That is not accomplishing. This PPA party will show you and will produce accomplishments that you can all be proud of.